Good morning, listeners and viewers of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back. Nice to have you here. And as usual, I have some news to read, then to share with you some video at the end. Thank you again for joining me. Here are the news for February 3rd, 2021. So the news plus Concerned Citizens Media comments. Ethiopian soldiers killed at town called Hudru in Somalia. At least 10 Ethiopian soldiers were killed and several were injured in this surprise attack in Somalia. The injured Ethiopian soldiers were taken to nearby airport in Baidoa by 2 military helicopters. Nobody claims responsibility for this attack. Al-Shabaab is the well-known armed group which is active and conducting the armed struggle against the central government in Mogadishu and against international peacekeeping force. So 10 died and many injured. So these are part of the peacekeeping operation in Somalia. Also is a money-making machine for the government, and the government make money from these soldiers and use that money to oppress Oromos and other ethnicities back home. Oromos are forced to rally in support of their killers in Oromia region. Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party in Oromia are forcing Oromos to come out and support the Prosperity Party agenda. Residents are threatened with severe penalties, both financial and imprisonment, if they stay home or open their business on the day of the rallies the government called. Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party are exposing Oromos to COVID-19 by forcing them to attend these rallies without any protection. No mask, no hand sanitizers, no social distancing, and other medical guidelines are purposely ignored for ruling party political benefits. It is a crime knowingly exposing your own citizens to this very serious infectious virus for your own political gains. The Ethiopian government, led by Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party, has postponed the most important national election and also denied others not to have gatherings of any type, citing COVID-19 as excuses. However, now when it comes to their political advantages, they are subjecting Oromos to COVID-19 by forcing them to attend their rallies by various intimidating and other threatening tactics. Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party must be held accountable for their double standards and for the violation of World Health Organization guidelines for COVID-19 in these forced government rallies. So I have one video, you will see it. Everybody just open, no protection at all, overcrowded. That's unless the country is declared COVID-19 free, We didn't hear that. So exposing people in such a way is irresponsible, and it's a crime, really. The Washington Post exposes Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party supporters' lies about the war casualties in Tigray region. The Post reported that over 50,000 civilians were killed in Tigray War. Over 50,000 unarmed civilians. So this newspaper cited the research and the evidence provided by 3 local opposition parties such as National Congress of Great Tigray or Baitona, Unat Party or TIP, and Salsa Wayane Tigray Party. The Washington Post also called for immediate intervention to minimize the deaths of further civilians in this endless war in the region. The day-to-day civilian death toll is increasing in the Tigray region due to widespread illness, starvation, and other problems created as byproduct of the war. Abiy Ahmed and his supporters repeatedly lied about the casualties of the war, refugees, and many other subjects. For instance, Abiy Ahmed proudly boasted about no civilian casualty in the war he conducted in the Tigray region. If you remember, when he was addressing the parliament, he said no casualties at all, no even single. So that is a total lie. That is now absolutely false by this Washington Post report and other evidence already out there in the global community. These 3 local opposition political parties also called for third-party independent investigation for war crimes committed in the region. Citing these local parties' research, this newspaper also confirmed that the clear and factual participation of Eritrean Defense Force, Ethiopian Defense Force, Somalian soldiers, Amara militia, and Amara Special Forces and other non-African countries in the war conducted in the Tigray region. Probably the newspaper don't want to mention UAE, United Arab Emirates, for its support in drones. These 3 local parties also called for immediate withdrawal of armed forces from the region and for immediate humanitarian aid for the victims of this war. So the lie is exposed. More than 50,000 civilians' deaths is recorded, even though independent medias are denied access to verify this and other news. So yes, from refugees, from other evidences, more civilians died and more than 62,000 became refugee due to Abiy Ahmed war. It could be avoidable, but he didn't want to do that for benefit of Prosperity Party. He want to stay in power by destroying his own country and his own people. Thanks to Isaias Afwerki's advice, plus others. The diaspora communities in Seattle, Washington, and Minneapolis, Minnesota came out and denounced Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party for subjecting Oromos to unbearable atrocities in Oromia region. They called on Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party to release all Oromo political prisoners and others immediately. They also urged Oromos to get united and show their resistance against the oppressors in Ethiopia. They advised it is not the time to be silent when our heroes are suffering in Ethiopia's prison and dragged into endless court dramas, and when our people are subjected to military command posts and other inhumane treatments. The Minneapolis, Minnesota Oromo community also called for a huge rally for February 3rd, which is today, to show solidarity with the hashtag Oromo Yellow movement and to call for urgent attention for the Oromo prisoners in Ethiopia, especially for those on hunger strike for the 6th day. Partial credit for OMA. Israel's humanitarian gesture. Israel transfers 5,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses to Palestinians, especially to frontline health workers. 160,000 COVID-19 cases in West Bank and Gaza, and only 1,833 days. Yeah. These people have nothing. I don't think they have even hospitals, thanks to Israel. So despite all these miserable situations, God is helping them, to survive from COVID-19. Only 1,800, still big, but when compared to, all lack of sanitation, lack of the supplies, lack of doctors, hospitals, they are blessed, really. The sad reality is that Israel's extensive vaccination drive does not include Israeli Arab citizens and Palestinians living in annexed East Jerusalem. So, in one hand, yes, they are doing a gesture, but they are also discriminating against their own citizens, Arab Israelis. Yes. On Friday, the World Health Organization warned against vaccine nationalism, saying there was a real danger that the very tools that could help to end the pandemic, which is vaccine, may exacerbate global inequality. The best vaccination, this is my comment, concerned citizens' comment. The best vaccination for Palestinians is to end Israeli expansion through annexation, demolition, expulsion, assassination, or by other means into Palestinian territories. I repeat, the best vaccination for Palestinians is to end Israeli expansion through annexation, demolition, expulsion, assassination, or by other means into Palestinian territories. Saving them now and killing them later is not a viable solution for the Palestinians. So that is concerned citizens' comment about the situation. We know it, we grow with it. Israel is expanding more to Palestinian territories. UN is keep talking about 1967, but they are far away from that. They make it difficult to negotiate by expanding more into Palestinian territories. So they are also bringing those who have Jewish root, even though there is no space, but still they are bringing them and taking more land from Palestinians. It's tough. If you don't have land, why you want to bring people? The situation in Myanmar, I can't say this word. The situation in Myanmar is still tense and fluid. Hundreds of lawmakers from Myanmar, also called Burma, parliament are still confined inside government housing in the country's capital. The coup or the takeover came the morning that lawmakers from all the country had gathered in the capital for the opening of the new parliamentary session, and the followed day of worry that a coup was coming. One lawmaker told the Associated Press that he and about 400 parliament members were able to speak with each other inside the compound and communicated with the constituencies by phone, but were not allowed to leave. The Joe Biden administration threatened to impose sanctions on the main Myanmar government and its military if they do not reverse this coup and accept the outcome of the democratic election. So CNN, BBC, and others credited for this news. So some news, maybe this update. Some of the officials released from the house arrest, maybe all from the parliament. Okay, this one is another important executive order, another good stuff signed by new administration thanks to Joe Biden, and it's a different kind of policy. President Joe Biden signed immigration executive orders and established task force to reunite separated families at US-Mexico border. This will end Trump's child separation policy. So if you remember, the former president Donald Trump is openly advancing separation policies, taking away the children from the families, put them in jail as a very cruel policy, and returning the families by force back home. The children are here, the family is already back home. So after a while, some journalists find out, exposed, and the Trump administration denied they have that separation policy. Yes, they have that separation policy, and cruel. So Biden is now reversing that policy and signing the executive order. I am not making a new law. I am eliminating bad policy, Biden said at the White House signing ceremony on Tuesday. This is really how difference of leadership, difference of heart, and the difference in outlook in everything, makes. This is about how America is safer, stronger, and more prosperous when we have a fair, orderly, and humane legal immigration system, Biden said. By the grace of God and goodwill of the neighbors, we will reunite these children with their parents and reestablish our reputation as being a haven for people in need. This is really very humane treatment. It's loving heart, consideration for human dignity. When you compare this with other president, former president, everything he was doing was against humanity, evil, hate. So Biden is totally in opposite direction with that attitude. There's a feeling for humanity, for human dignity, and to support humanity with everything, with a policy, with a speech, with everything. So he is Trump was attempting to separate families, keep children, let them sleep on a floor without treatment. How cruel is that when you compare with current administration, who are happy to have them, happy to welcome those in need, eager to unite children with their family instead of separating them, instead of advocating for separation of child family policy. So it's a big difference. He already signed more than, I think, 30 plus executive, all of them good, all of them. They unite the country. They make everybody feel belong to this country. So he said, that's really makes me feel, by the grace of God and the goodwill of the neighbors, we will reunite these children with their parents and reestablish our reputation as being a haven for people in need, President Joe Biden added. Meanwhile, the Senate voted 56 to 43 on Tuesday to confirm Alejandro Mayorkas as Homeland Security Secretary, the first Latino and immigrant to serve at the helm of the department. So the Biden cabinet, as I already reported before, looks like or represents, try to represent the American constituents, at least try to represent all Americans, Latinos, white, African Americans, minorities, lesbian, LGBT community. So this is a different kind of cabinet, and this guy is the first Latino and immigrant to hold that position, the Secretary of Homeland Security. And the challenge we have is in the system. As you can see, only 6 only 6 Republicans joined in confirming the first Latino American to this position. So there is a holding, and the people need to understand there is a holding in the system uh, uh, in approving cabinet level or in changing those established rules, creating new rules. So there is a holding in the system. The system is in the Republican Party. There is a holding. There is a challenge. 43 Republicans voted against this guy. What can you tell about this? What did he do? Why all these Republicans voted against this guy? Is he a criminal? Is it because of Latino background? This is a question Americans with good heart should ask. That is, we have systemic problem. This is one of the indication of the systemic problem. When you try to change something, there is a hold from those on the authority, those who those elected, and those who are serving in different positions. So it makes me sad to see 43 public officials voting against this Latino immigrant. So this is a question we have to ask ourselves, and how can we change? To change is to bring new faces in the coming election. Changing like last time Georgia changed blue. It never happened in 20 years maybe. So there's more to be done. It's not over yet. So this vote makes me disappointing, even though he just need maybe 56 or simple majority. They have to question themselves why they voted in such a way, and they have to explain why. What is the reservation? Is it because of his background, or is it because of his criminal, or what is it? Okay, that is the comment and the news from Concerned Citizens Media. And now I will share some videos with you. Let's see, the first one I said very short one, shared by Murad Ammanno. Murad Ammanno is from Facebook. This one, the one you're gonna see, maybe you already see on the Facebook, it looks like a demonstration called for a prosperity party, but due to internal pain, those demonstrators or protesters turned against prosperity party. That was not the intention of the government. The government was to show that prosperity party has base support, to show the global community, to hide their criminal activities, what they do in Oromia against Oromos, killing, torturing, throwing the body in the forest or in the riverside, abusing the court system, not respecting the judge's decisions, using all kind of excuses to abuse Oromos. So the people have a pain. The people are suffering to too much atrocities in Oromia, now in other areas too. Benishangul is under command post, Tigray is at war, other areas also feeling pain, because these are the people, these are the parties that have been in power for the last 27 years plus now. Nothing new. They call the other party junta. These are sons of junta. They are trained by juntas, well trained how to kill, how to destroy people. So they may try to cheat the people and the global communities by changing names, OPDO to Prosperity Party or other names. Changing name is meaningless. They should have changed their conduct, because people forgave them for the past crimes, but they came back again, add more crimes. Nothing changed. Somebody learned to kill. It's not easy to stop from killing again. That's what they're doing now. So let's go to the videos. What I said is they expose people to COVID-19 by just calling them these huge rallies. And this one is one of the rallies turned against the government's agenda. Let's listen. As you can see, it's no face mask. You see how they are overcrowded? Okay, that's enough. So really, I hope they will be safe. That's a bad way in a COVID-19 time to bring call for demonstrations for their own political gains. And these people, they know what Prosperity Party is doing, and they are saying in Oromo, Afan Oromo, but what they are saying is Oromo is united, Oromo is one, and Johar is our leader. Johar is our leader, and Prosperity Party must go. That's what they say. It is not the intention of the call for these rallies, but turned against them, because there is internal pain, internal suffering. They know what's happening in Oromia every day. That's why they turned against them, even though they are called by Prosperity Party and their cadres. So that is enough. I hope they will not call again for such kind of rallies to expose people for COVID-19. That's easily can be spread. Okay, now I get another short ones. Then gonna continue watching. Okay, let me bring this thing, because it's let's see. Yeah, because this is can hold with my hand because it's a little bit longer videos. There we go.
The military seizure of power, a direct assault on Myanmar's transition to democracy, U.S. President Joe Biden issued a stern warning to the country's military leaders: reverse course or face economic sanctions.
We removed sanctions, the United States, I should say, removed sanctions on Burma over the past decade based on progress toward democracy. The reversal of that progress will necessitate an immediate review of our sanctions laws and authorities, followed by appropriate action.
The White House is calling on the international community to pressure Myanmar's military to immediately release detained officials and relinquish the powers it seized. The developments are a test for the fledgling Biden administration and the new Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, who was sworn in last week. The top Republican in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, released this statement, pressuring the Biden administration to take a strong stand and urging U.S. partners and all democracies around the world to follow suit in condemning this authoritarian assault on democracy. When Biden was vice president, Barack Obama became the first sitting U.S. president to visit Myanmar. He praised its steps toward democratic and economic reform. Strict U.S. sanctions against the country were lifted when Myanmar transitioned to civilian rule. But U.S. support for Myanmar's government began to sour because of its discrimination against Rohingya Muslims that included a denial of citizenship. There were further concerns when civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi defended the military as hundreds of thousands fled as refugees. The foreign policy crisis comes as the Biden administration is struggling to deal with domestic issues like a depressed economy and unemployment due to the global COVID-19 pandemic that's cost roughly 450,000 Americans their lives.
It's still trying to get its sea legs, it's still trying to figure out what its foreign policies will be, and most importantly, it's very preoccupied with domestic crises. The Biden administration really wants to focus on the pandemic and on economic crisis at home and on racial tensions, and it really doesn't, I think it's not ready to have to confront a crisis like this.
The Biden administration faces a dilemma. Tough U.S. measures could push Myanmar's military rulers closer to China, a U.S. adversary, something the new president wants to avoid. Kimberly Helgett, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Brush your teeth in less than 10 seconds with this revolutionary toothbrush. It was created by a well-known dentist, and it took him over 3 years to make.
A day after a coup in Myanmar, soldiers on the street are a stark reminder of the new military regime. In Yangon, banks and shops reopened as the city seemed to be quietly returning to normal, but the mood among the people here seemed low as they digested what had happened.
When I heard the news, I couldn't believe it. I'm sad. I'm sad for the people. I feel pain in my heart. I think people are going to face trouble.
I can't even eat or sleep. We are not strong enough to do something back to them. We don't have power. They seize the power because they have guns. We have nothing.
On Monday, the military detained de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other prominent political figures. Since the arrests, some regional ministers and lawmakers have been released. In a country where she and her NLD party remain extremely popular, winning a landslide victory in November elections, this coup will undoubtedly be unwanted by many.
Well, all the people I've met, men and women, even children, don't want to return to military rule, you know? And they hate even the thought of it, even the very sound of it. They don't want it. But what can they do?
The NLD party has released a statement attributed to Aung San Suu Kyi, calling for the people to protest against the military's actions.
All the voters who gave their backing to us in the 2020 general election should follow Aung San Suu Kyi's instructions to carry out civil disobedience.
That call has been widely shared across social media.
Here on the streets of Yangon, it seems like business as usual. But although it's calm for now, voices of dissent are starting to be heard.
The NLD is calling for the immediate release of those who have been arrested. A party spokesperson says Suu Kyi is in good health. And as the sun goes down, the sounds of resistance can be heard in the city. People striking pans and drums from their balconies and sounding their car horns, all in protest against the military coup. Ali Fowl, Yangon, Al Jazeera.
Okay, one more.
It's now almost 10 years since the start of the uprising in Libya. It's been a decade of death and misery. But the UN's outgoing acting special representative, Stephanie Williams, told the Security Council there was now reason for hope.
A ceasefire is in place.
A ceasefire agreed in October was holding. Despite this, she said blatant foreign interference was continuing. This was the first Security Council meeting on Libya attended by a diplomat representing the Biden administration, and he demonstrated what appears to be a more forceful US policy.
We call on all external parties, to include Russia, Turkey, and the UAE, to respect Libyan sovereignty and immediately cease all military intervention in Libya.
A line echoed later when I asked the UN Secretary General about Libya. Can you please today give us your message to those countries that are still involved militarily in Libya?
The Libyans are doing their part. It's essential that all the others that are involved in the Libyan crisis also do their part. It's essential that all foreign troops and all foreign mercenaries move first to Benghazi and to Tripoli, and from there move back and leave the Libyans alone, because the Libyans have already proven that left alone they are able to address their problems.
At the end of the meeting, the Security Council agreed a position calling on all foreign fighters to leave Libya. Russia, in a statement to Al Jazeera, said that it has no military in the country, although there have been numerous reports that the Wagner Group, a mercenary company, has been operating in Libya. Turkey has long said that its forces are in the country at the request of the legitimate government. Both those countries, though, now know there's a new policy from the US government, as does the United Arab Emirates, which has already seen an arms deal worth $23 billion blocked for now. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
Okay, thank you, Al Jazeera. That's all the videos I have for today. And thank you for watching. We got so many challenges in the world, our own challenge, plus the global challenge, Myanmar, Libya, China-US relationship, tough situations everywhere, so it's very tough, and we have to, deal with it. And so thank you for watching Concerned Citizens Media. Keep going, keep supporting the hashtag Oromo Yellow Movement or Oromo Yellow Challenge. The campaign is still going on to raise awareness. Our people are on hunger strike. Today is the 6th day. I don't think they stop that. It's a very tough. I don't know how they're gonna survive. I think they should be advised to save themselves for the future. Abiy don't care. Abiy is advised by Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki to be worse than himself, to be like Idi Amin. These are cruel people. they don't back down for diplomacy, other campaigns, or warning, or hunger strike. This guy is a tough, very tough. It's like he was an intelligence officer. He got so many bloods on his hand. He was with, as his history shows, he was with TPLF when he was like, what, 15, 17 years old. So he knows how to silence people. So we don't expect mercy from him. So I think concerned citizens media don't have access to Johar and Bakala Garba and all those on hunger strike. You know, if I had that access, I could advise him, please save your life. You are the engine for this revolution. Don't die. Don't think this guy will change his position because of your hunger strike. It's okay for a few days to get domestic and global attention to the situation, but I don't want to die for this guy. This guy don't care at all. So if you have access, tell them to start eating, get ready for more fighting, more revolution. These people are extremely helpful for future politics in that country. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Please share, comment, and I will be back again with other news and concerned citizens media comments and more videos. Thank you for watching, and so long everyone. Keep the resistance continue until freedom is achieved for all Oromos and for all peace-loving countries, peace-loving citizens in that country. Keep the fight on until all these oppressors are removed or change their mind. And like 2018, when the revolution was brought change, they became part of the revolution, then they diverted the revolution and start doing the same thing they used to do. You know. Thank you again. I will be back with more news and the videos. Continue sharing, commenting, subscribing, and thank you so long everyone.